either of you ever read the Samuel and Pearl O'Linner study of Holocaust rescuers and bystanders?
No.
Amazing project by sociologists. So basically they got a big sample, hundreds of Christians who rescued Jews during the Holocaust, and compared them to their own neighbors who did nothing. And they wanted to know what made these people into humans of such extraordinary character that they were willing to risk their lives for somebody who didn't share their fundamental beliefs. And there were a lot of interesting findings in the study, but one that has always stuck with me was the rescuers compared to the bystanders were less likely to be punished with consequences and more likely to be punished with explanations. And I think this goes to the heart of, Brene, your distinction between compliance and commitment.
Wait, explain.
As kids.
Explain.
Sorry, let me explain a little more clearly. So growing up, the people who went on to become rescuers, when they did something wrong, their parents didn't punish them. They explained to them why the behavior was wrong. So then instead of just learning to comply with what authority figures did, they actually internalized a set of values and principles that they carried with them.
Oh, that's the difference between compliant. Yeah, me too. That's compliance versus commitment. That's
in a nutshell.
Wow, and this is now nature versus nurture too, which is and I remember a study that I read that I couldn't tell you who did it.
Don't tell us.
Thank you. I studied when I was writing Leaders Eat Last. I became very interested in. I read a whole bunch of parenting stuff, and one of the things I remember reading is that I think they talked about values, but our values don't come from our parents. There's so many influences in our lives, and like two kids who are brought up the same way. One goes one way, one goes the other, and apparently across cultures, universally, there's only two things everyone always gets from their parents, which is how you treat yourself and how you treat others.
That's interesting.
And Adam, this would speak to that, which is when you make a bad choice and you get an explanation that you're learning to treat others in a certain way and yourself for another, and yourself for that, versus getting punished. You're going to treat yourself or others in a different way. So good. This goes to Leadership 101 as well. Let me tell you why we don't do that around here, and why the decision you made. I want to explain to you what's important about that decision, like why we don't do it that way. So good.
It's so good. And I would imagine, I don't know if they got to this, Adam, did they? I would imagine when it was consequence versus punishment, I would imagine, this is so interesting, I would imagine that consequence would be a lot of lessons in empathy about how someone's actions affected other people.
Exactly.
Where punishment is more shame-driven.
Yes.
Literally, I think they were doing your research. Like the parents explained the consequences. Like, here's why, stealing your sibling's toy hurts them.
Yeah.
Imagine how you would feel if someone stole your toy. Right? That's the whole thing. And
good. This is
instead of shame, they get guilt. Right? Like I did a bad thing and I need to now prevent it moving forward.
What is the one emotion or affect that shame corrodes?
Empathy.
And shame corrodes empathy. Empathy cannot survive shame.
And
shame is so self-focused.
And shame, you start to believe you're the only person in the world.
Yes.
Right? Because it's about preventing me from getting in trouble, which is a very selfish disposition, versus recognizing that I live in the world and my words and my actions have impact in the lives of others.
Yeah, self-focused versus other-focused, yeah.
The self versus the other focus. But I think it works the other way as well, which is it's not just punishment, it's also the reward. And you look at a corporate environment. Look at Boeing.
Oh, God.
Let's just look at Boeing for 5 minutes. What a clusterfuck that is.
Yeah.
Right? And incentivized to move fast and hit numbers, punished for slowing down the system. But it's not just the punishment, it's also the incentive, right? We're incentivizing the wrong behaviors and we're disincentivizing the pro-social behaviors. And it all goes back to selfish versus selfless, which is, do you live in the world by yourself or do you live in the world with others? And I'm going to parent you to recognize that you are one of many, versus parenting you that you are just one. You follow the rules because it's just you that needs to follow the rules.
And what that leads you to is taking actions to protect your reputation as opposed to improve your character.
Yes.
That's it.
Or improve your behavior, yeah.
Yeah. And it's so interesting too, because y'all talked about narcissism, and that's why, like, I don't remember what book it was in. Maybe it wasn't Atlas of the Heart. I think it was Dare to Lead. I said, I think this is my own definition of narcissism.
By Brene Brown. That one I know.
Thank you. This is all that matters, Simon. Just get mine right. But I think it was in Dare to Lead that I said, to me, narcissism is the shame-based fear of being ordinary.